Hey guys, welcome back to GM Games, and this is another episode of Out of the Park Baseball 24 with the Chicago White Sox. So our Sunday episode took us through the off season and into the beginning of May. A couple of big off-season acquisitions. If you haven't watched that video, we traded for Freddie Freeman. We gave up quite a bit to get him, but not so much that I think it hurt us. We gave up Boston Kellner, who he's turned into a second baseman. Looks like the Dodgers have him in rookie ball as a 20-year-old. He's hitting pretty well. The pitching isn't there, so he's not really a pitcher, but they have him pitching. Albert Alberto, a 21-year-old minor leaguer. Cam Caminiti, another young pitching prospect, 20 years old, really good personality traits. And then Ceddanne Rafaela was, I forgot about, well, we'll go to Rafaela first, I guess. Ceddanne Rafaela, they have him playing shortstop. He's not hitting. And we knew he wasn't going to hit. We were planning on using him as our starting shortstop, but, you know, flexible, play a lot of positions. But, and then Masataka Yoshida, who was we weren't paying him anything. Red Sox were retaining the entirety of his contract, and none of those players are playing particularly well. And we brought in Freddie Freeman, who's hit the ball really well for us so far. And then we also picked up where's the trade? Right here. We had picked up this Brian Arias guy from the Yankees in the offseason, and he was like the number 74 prospect in baseball. So we offered him up, and the Tigers offered us Riley Green, primarily due to a cost thing. I mean, he's making $23 million in ARB this year. His ARB request right now is just over 30. But he's been really good for us so far this year as well. So those were our two big offseason acquisitions. We are 18-9, sitting atop the American League Central. And I think this will probably be a little bit longer episode, probably get through July like we normally do. Kind of in that after episode, that after live stream episode. So we'll probably sim the month of May here day by day. I'll go and I'll do the month of June offline, and then we'll come back and we'll do July as all kind of in one episode. So if we start simming, we win our first game of the month 8-3. Offensively, it hasn't been great for us this year. We got three players who are really hitting: Freeman, Green, and Gorman, and that's really it right now. You can see Kwan's at 250, Arozarena at 202. Meadows $154, Rojas 233, Marcelo Meyer at 227. So we really have three batters carrying our lineup right now. And one of those, and Freeman had 3 hits and 3 RBIs. Gorman had 2 hits and 2 RBIs. Bryce Elder gets the win. So hopefully some of the other bats can pick it up here so that we aren't relying on just 3 hitters. Again, Green and Gorman each with a pair of hits. 3 RBIs from Meadows, Arozarena, and Rodriguez homer. That's nice. We like to see that. Dollard goes 4 2/3. Our bullpen. A lot of bullpen arms pitching in this game, and they all do well. We got an off day before the Orioles come to town. Game 1. We lose 4-3 in 10. Dylan Cease on the bump now, looking for his 5th. Gets it with a 6-1 victory. Like Blake Hunt going 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Gorman with his 11th home run. Freddie Freeman a couple of hits and an RBI. Cease goes 5 2/3. Final game of the series against the Orioles now. We lose 8-2 to Nick Pivetta. Angels now. Jack Leiter pitching for the Angels, and he has not developed. Jack Leiter, Shohei Ohtani, Dalton Jeffries against Elder, Dollard, and Serna. We win 10-5 here. Freddie Freeman 2 for 5 with a couple of runs knocked in. Benny Montgomery with a pinch hit 3-run homer. Green hits a home run. Yeah, Benny's ratings dropped, which is really frustrating. He's good defensively. I mean, he may end up being a backup outfielder for us, but yeah, it's a little frustrating. Elder gets hit hard. rest of the bullpen does their job. Game 2 against Shohei and the Angels. 5-2 loss. And game 3. Okay, so we've been like a 500 team so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 so far this month. So, yeah, 4-4 team in May thus far. Cleveland now, 18-17. 3-2 win in 10. Gave up a run in the 10th. We scored 2 in the 10th. Freeman and Rodriguez. Good game for Cease. Jorge Vera still hasn't allowed a run in 17 1/3 innings this year. Game 2. Just looking to... Appleby is back. That's nice to see. Just looking to clear some distance here between us and the teams in second and third place. Cantorino's been bad. We will send him down to the minors. Appleby is back and ready to go. He'll go back into the rotation, replacing, I think... How's Dollar doing as a starter? Not bad, frankly. Giving up 3 runs or less in every start. So I think Appleby comes in for Elder for the time being. We win this one 4-3. Stephen Kwan, only 238. I was hoping that maybe this was going to be similar to what happened with Rosarena, where he struggled in his first season and then bounced back with a solid second season, but not so far. We could be looking to move on from both Kwan and Rosarena at the end of this season because I want to be able to bring back Riley Green. Well, I mean, we have Green for one more year anyway, but I would like to be able to sign him to a long-term extension. And we're going to need some money to do that. So we win this game 4-3. Final game of the series with Appleby back on the mound. Win 6-0. Caleb coming off the DL. Parker Meadows 2 for 4, 4 RBIs. That's huge. Freeman homers. Yeah, Appleby goes 5 shutout. Elder comes off. Elder, that 65 movement and extreme growl. He's just not going to give up many home runs. He's just, I don't know, hasn't pitched well this year, but still the minimum. I think he's still a valuable player. Final game of the series against the Indians. We look to push them 8 games out, and we do. That's a rough series for Cleveland. 2 hits for Rosarena, 2 hits, 3 RBIs for Green. Meadows has that average up to 211. Homers for hits his 3rd home run in 2 days. Dollar goes 5 1/3 again. Yeah, so Dollar's done a nice job in the bullpen. Blake Snell pitching for the Cincinnati Reds. We send Serenade to the mound. 7-5. Is that the worst start? Yeah, I mean that was the worst start of his career, and 3 innings of 5 hit, 3 innings of 5 hit 3-run ball. I'll take. All right, Cease now against Hunter Green. Back-to-back losses against Cincinnati. We win the 3rd and final game of the series against the Reds with Matt Brash pitching. Green has 3 more RBIs. Meyer with 2 hits. Gorman having a really nice year, man. Pace for 58 home runs. All right, now we're going to Los Angeles to take on the Dodgers for 3. We win 6-4. Was that Appleby again? It was. He doesn't get the win because Perez gave up 3. Oh, no, Meyer came in. Oh, let's go to extras? Oh, no, it was 1-1. Okay, that's what happened. It was 1-1 until... Meyer came in. All right. Perez gave up 3 runs. He hasn't been great. We may need to look at moving him around in the bullpen a little bit. Rosarena hits a 7th home run. Benny Montgomery's up to 240. Where do we have Perez? We have him. Let's use less often at this point. And we'll take on Bobby Miller now and the Dodgers. Oof, that's a tough one. 11-0 loss, and the final game of the series was Serna on the bump, on the mound, on the hill, pitching, whatever you want to call it. It's another loss. So 20-4, we get outscored in the final 2 games of the series against the Dodgers. That's no bueno. Yeah, some of our bullpen arms. Yeah, we have right now the 11th best ERA from our bullpen. Really, it's Robinson, Vera, Meyer, and Casetta Stubbs that are pitching well. Everybody else has been. Yeah, Elder and Perez have been bad, man. Really bad. And that BABIP has to come down, right? We got Cleveland again. This time we're at home. Let's see if we can just continue to beat up on the Indians. We win the first game 5-4. Dylan picks up his 6th victory. Rodriguez hits his 3rd home run. Green's average down to 305. Freeman down to 309. But again, those 3 guys still. Oh, no, Rosarena's up to 264. I mean, if it comes down to keeping a Rosarena for 1 year or Kwan for 3 years, at this point we keep a Rosarena because he's just been the better bat. So, but that's a problem for the end of the season. Jorge Vera gives up his first 2 runs of the season. All right, game 2 against Cleveland, Brash pitching. We look for our 30th win and we get it. 3 hits, 3 RBIs for Randy. Yeah, he is out of his early season struggles. So now all of a sudden the middle of that lineup, 2, 3, 4, 5, look a whole lot better. Brash goes 5. Yeah, you like seeing Giovanni Cruz with a couple of scoreless outings back to back. That's nice to see. Final game of the series, we got Appleby going. They've got Javier Santos. We lose that game. Dollard now against the Royals, 2nd place Royals. We win 12-9, so we're 7.5 up in the division right now. Rodriguez with a huge game, 4 for 4. Rosarena 3 for 6, 4 RBIs. Freeman had 3 runs knocked in. Looks like Gorman homered. Sugastey had 2 hits. Rojas had 2 hits. Dollard gets the win. Our bullpen, again, does not pitch well. So as soon as I start talking about seeing some good things out of our bullpen, they come in and they get tanked again. But we win. We win. We win. We'll send Serna to the hill. He's looking for his 3rd win. He hasn't won in like a month. He's not going to win here either. Cal Quantrill for Arnold Prado. No, thank you. Dylan Cease on the hill. The 3rd game of the series, and we lose. So we are slightly over 500 this month. 5.5 game lead on the Royals. Cease is 6-2. Brash pitching tomorrow against the Nationals. Almost called them the Senators. Bailey Ober going for them. Brash for us. And there's a 6-0 win. I keep talking about how we can't afford Matt Brash next season. The reality is that we may not be able to afford to let him go, given how well he's been pitching. Led the American League in ERA last season, and he's been better this year. Doesn't pitch deep into ball games, but I mean, if he can give you 150, 160 innings at that type of performance, I mean, you got to take it. Casetta Stubbs has been really, really good out of the pen for us, so we are getting some good performances out of the bullpen. Green with his 9th home run. Appleby looking for his 2nd win. And he gets it. Rosarena 3 for 3. That average all the way up to 286. Freddie Freeman and a Rosarena each hit their 9th home runs of the year. Appleby goes 5 2/3. Final game of the series against the Nats. Got rained out. So we got the Cubs finishing up the month of May. And yeah, I will sim June offline, and then we'll come back and we'll take a quick look at the stats and whatever, and then we'll do July like we normally do. So game 1 on the north side. Eligio Paredes. It's a 4-1 win. Freddie Freeman, 3 hits and an RBI. Riley Green hits his 10th. Dollard goes 5. Bullpen does a nice job. Let's sim the final game of the series here against the Cubs before we look at player development and whatnot. Let you guys sit in on the Crosstown Classic, and we split the series. We lose the second game 3-1 in 10. So we're 5.5 games up on the Royals going into June. We were 16-11 in May. So 2 games off of our April pace, which, ultimately isn't terrible. We're 5th in runs scored. We're 5th in runs against, which is a bit surprising. Middle of the pack defensively as well, at least from a defensive efficiency rating. You have to think that as the bullpen improves, and you have to think that the bullpen will improve. As the bullpen improves, I think we stretch this lead out here. Our starting pitching's been just outstanding. Most of our, I don't want to say most, but some of our pitchers have been really good. Cam Robinson, Nori Vera, Max Meyer, Casetta Stubbs have all been really, really good. Ellard's been fine in short uses, but Perez, Elder have been really bad. Giovanni Cruz has been up and down. So, yeah, it hasn't been a terrific month. Maybe Jay Wolfuk gets the call up here shortly. Cantorino was another one. We just sent him down, and he was really bad. And he's been great in AAA. So we've got the depth. We can move some people around. I think we send Perez down for a little bit, just for a little bit, and see what Wolfuk can give us in a middle relief role. Perez has just been really, really bad. So want to see what he does. Give him a little bit of time down at AAA to kind of work stuff out. Player development, Applebee's potential stuff drops a little bit. That's not good. He's been really good, though. 1.26 ERA plus. And you guys know me. I'm not going to spend too much time looking at the expanded pitching. It's just not how I am. But 74 fit minus, which is really good. I have no idea what Sierra means. I've heard of it. I don't. So one of you guys can tell me in the comments. But Sierra of 2.44, I imagine, is either really good or really bad. Parker Meadows gets better. Yeah, I mean, as long as the bat stays right around there, he's as good a 4th outfielder as you're going to find in the majors. Gabriel Hughes gets worse. That one continues to sting a little bit. Colin McKinney gets a little worse. That's not good, but he's pitching pretty well in AA right now. He's probably on the big league roster next season. Zanger gets a little worse. That's, again, I mean, high school pitchers, man. High school pitchers. TJ Ferris, he was the knuckleballer. I think it's time to call him up. It's time to call him up and put him in A-ball and see what he can give us. That 70 knuckleball, man. Just don't know. We will see how it goes, though. Cesares gets a little worse. He may be somebody we look to deal. In fact, let's just quickly look and see what sort of hitting prospects we can get for Toto. There were a couple of names that I was looking at from an offensive perspective as we look for upgrades this season. And Cesares is kind of one of those names that I was looking at to figure out what I can do to help the team. And I would be fine trading him for a comparable hitting prospect, but I would rather a cost controlled, maybe a player who's already in the majors, who's a little bit more cost controlled. Tampa was the team I was looking at. So let's just go in here and let's remove him. I was looking at Heriberto Hernandez. Yeah, I mean, those are really good ratings. He hit 28 home runs last season. It was his rookie year. He's struggling this year. He would be a DH. But in case we lose Freddie Freeman, I mean, the potential exists that we can re-sign Freeman. He only wants a 3-year contract. But if the ratings decline, I mean, Hernandez isn't a bad option to stick in there. What would they want in addition? Appleby, Cruzana. Okay. So they want a piece I'm not necessarily ready to give up right now, but maybe maybe there's a way I can make this work, and I'll fiddle with it offline. But like, I wouldn't be super averse to giving up Cruz if I could get another reliever back. But what if we did Cantorino? That actually makes it worse. Interesting. Okay, I'll screw around with it a little bit and I'll see what I can do. But this is a deal I've been looking at. Hernandez turned into a monster in a couple other playthroughs, and I mean, last year he put up 127 OPS plus, 2.6 WAR. Really, really good against lefties, which is something that we could use. Passable against righties right now. So I would like to see if I can make something work with Tampa. So that will be something I mess with here over the next month. So I'm going to take a quick break. Well, take a quick break for you guys. When I'm back, it will be July 1st. So hang tight. All right, we're back. It's July 1st, and you can see we are 52-28, 11 games up on the Royals, 11.5 up on the Tigers. It was a very good month of June, 18-8. We're scoring runs. We're third in the American League in runs scored. We're 11th in on-base percentage. We're 11th in batting average, 12th in on-base percentage. We're 5th in slugging. So, yeah, I don't know how we're doing it. 5th in home runs, 6th in extra base hits. I mean, and even our pitching, while good, hasn't been as good as it was in previous seasons. But that probably has something to do with the fact that the AL Central is awful. You know, that helps. And we did pull the trigger on a deal for Heriberto Hernandez. I'll show you that deal here. We traded Eddie Cesares, the number 43 prospect in the game. We just have a ton of pitching prospects. And I know you can never have too many, but I felt like this was the time to pull the trigger. We traded Giovanni Cruz as well. He's been good for Tampa. He was good for us last season. But remember, he was a waiver wire pickup. So those are available. He also has some pretty extreme splits. He's good against righties, and he's not terrible against lefties, but not as dominant. And then Taylor Schweitzer, who is somebody they wanted. And in exchange, we get Heriberto Hernandez. And he's been not great so far. 14 for 59, 5 doubles, still doesn't have a home run. And he is strictly a DH. But that sort of forces our hand next year, right? We got to figure out what to do with either Kwan or Arozarena, or even this year, really, if we can move one of them. Arozarena had a really bad month of June, but still on pace for almost 4 WAR. Kwan, on the other hand, on pace for 1.5 WAR. He just hasn't been good. So we may have to figure out a deal for Steven Kwan here, even if it's just, eating half the contract to move him, because I don't think anybody wants him. Oh, let me set this to pitchers too. Not that I suspect that's going to make any difference, but yeah. What about the other thing we can potentially do is look at who's making the most amount of money this season. Javi Baez making $24 million. Cleveland and Joe Musgrove. Do you want your boy back? He's not. I mean, to be fair, you're the ones who gave him the contract. So we make this work now. They want Serna. Where does this need to be in order to get? Sergio Ramos was an international guy that we picked up a year ago. I mean, if I throw him in there, can I back off of this? Okay, so there's our one make this work. So let's continue to drop this down. So I think that might be the point. Let's submit the offer there at 15% and see what we get. Because what I'll do is I'll just move Arozarena to left, where he's not quite as good as Kwan, but he's still more than passable out in left field. And then that means Hernandez gets in there every day, because right now he's not playing every day. So maybe that'll help with the his offensive numbers. So let's go. We got Cease on the mound against Job today. We win 6-5. All right, so we get notification from them. Let's look at the box score first. Oh, wow, we were down 5-0. 6 runs in the final 4 innings. Kwan has a couple RBIs. Riley Green with his 19th home run. Gorman with his 21st. Cease doesn't pitch well, but our bullpen. Oh, speaking of our bullpen. So once we traded for Hernandez, we had a couple of open spots because we still have Raylan Perez down in the minors. So we called up Franco Alamon, who in his first outing gave up like 4 runs, or 3 runs, I guess. And since then, he's been great. He's been really, really good, a 137 ERA plus. And then Jay Wolfuk, we also called up, and all he's done in his first 13 outings is go 9 2/3 without giving up a single run. And Perez is still down in AAA. He's been down there all month, where he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good. So we'll continue to let him pitch in AAA and see if he can figure it out. And if not, we'll use him as trade bait. Expiring personnel. Yeah, we got to bring all these guys back. What do I want to do with Goldberg? Still no highly favored tools. Can we re-sign him to a 1-year extension? See if he takes a 1-year extension, and then maybe if there's a better option in the offseason, we can move on. Top 100 prospects. White Sox don't have any. I suspect that our system rating, yeah, we're down to 21st because we now only have 2 of the top 100, McKinney and Saros, who was our international guy that we picked up last season. And now we look at the trade. Almost. Tenorio, Wolfuk, Brash, Hernandez, Cease. Okay. So what about 20%? Make this work. Matthew Clark. Back this off now. I want to try to get as much of this contract back to Cleveland as possible, and we've got time to make it work. So, we already get an answer. Tenorio is actually a minor leaguer whose ratings just increased. You can see everything's starting to spike, so I'm not eager to move him. So let's bump that up to 15, submit the offer, and keep going. Nothing win. Okay, so Goldberg will probably come back on the 1-year deal, which is good. Benny Montgomery, a couple of hits. Hernandez hits his first home run, goes 3 for 5. Brash goes 6 shutout. We get another almost from Cleveland. Ricardo Brizuela. You can have him. So that gets us down to 15%. So it looks like 5% might be the max. So let's go to 10 and see what we can get there. I'll retain 10% for my folly of making the deal. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as punishment. There's another win, 12-4. So a couple of big wins over Colorado. 5-run first. 7 RBIs from Marcelo Meyer. 2 home runs, 7 runs knocked in, a triple. Hernandez with a home run in back-to-back games. Appleby picks up his 4th win. And everything is coming up Millhouse, as they say. So it looks like we'll be able to close this down here. Godwin Bennett, sure. All right, so Stephen Kwan, we will retain 10%. And then Sergio Ramos, who is a bit of a prospect, but LSA doesn't like him quite as much. Yeah. I mean, we're dipping into the prospect pool here a little bit, but I think it's okay to do that right now because it gives us some flexibility to potentially talk to Riley Green, bring back Freddie Freeman, that sort of thing. So we'll see how it goes. But Kwan will retain 10% with a handful of prospects. Jimenez, Clark, Brizuela, and Bennett are all just filler. We'll get Joe Musgrove back. Will they retire? Okay, so they won't retain any of it. His contract expires at the end of this year, but this will free up about $4.5 million for us this season to make another move. So that's fine. So they're disappointed to see Stephen Kwan leave, but that's fine. So now what do we do? Who do we call up? Because we do have a spot on the roster. Benny Montgomery will be our backup. I think we can just go back to Nicky Lopez, frankly. Assuming, is he hurt? He is hurt. Of course he is. A strained hamstring. All right. So I guess Jaloff. Or do we call up one of these guys that we signed in the offseason? We got Jace Jung. We can go to Jace Jung, I guess. We're going to have to figure out really soon what to do with Musgrove. But maybe we just turn around and, retain 40%. See if we get an offer. He still looks like he's a halfway decent player. Duran. Foscue. Anybody we can stash or something like that? What if we just do prospects? Excuse me. I think I'm coming down with a cold here, which is not good timing for me, given what I have scheduled this week. Edgardo Henriquez. He's a captain. Jojo Blackman. Pretty well in Double-A for a 24-year-old. Jankel Ortiz. I mean, he doesn't look great, but high work ethic, high intelligence. I think we just hold on to him at least for. I mean, we got a week with him in the DFA kind of world, so we can start with that. All right. So who's our new lead? Is Hernandez our leadoff hitter? I think he might be. I think he might be our leadoff hitter. Maybe a Rosarena against lefties. Yeah, put a Rosarena in as lefties as the lefty leadoff hitter. Heriberto in at DH. In that 2 spot, or do we do that? I think we do that. Move Riley Green up to the number 2 hole because he has, I think, 70 contact against lefties. Yeah. So it doesn't really give us much money for next season, but it puts us in a position to potentially be able to, we only have $7 million maximum allowable contract for next season. But it puts us in a better position, I should say. Freddie wants $29 million. Okay, so we're not quite there yet, but we're better off financially than we were before that. All right, we got Dollard going on the mound. Let's get up to the draft. See what sorts of things we can find there. We win again. It's a huge series against Colorado. Look at that. 8-0, 12-4, 5-0. Hernandez 2 for 3 with a couple of home runs. Batting out of the DH spot. Rojas has a couple hits. Dollard 7 shutout innings. Sub-3 ERA for Taylor Dollard. Wow. All right, at Minnesota now. They're 18.5 games out of first place. And they beat us 5-4, because of course they do. Dylan Cease picks up his 10th victory of the year already. Rodriguez and Meyer with home runs. No, neither of them with home runs. Marcelo Meyer's having a nice season. Having a nice year. 766 OPS. Above average defensively. I guess average defensively. All right, I'll take it. Cease goes 8 1/3. Game 3 now. Another win. So we're playing 667 ball, and Hernandez is raking, man. This last week for Heriberto Hernandez, he has been raking. He's up to 301 with a 913 OPS with us. Rosarena has 3 hits and an RBI. Rodriguez and Meadows each homer. Yeah, if Parker Meadows hits 220, I don't care. I mean, he's so good defensively as that fourth outfielder. Although we do have an option, right? We do have. I forgot. We had some nice improvements from a development perspective as well. Michael Mullinax is getting better. He's now a legit option in the outfield for us in the next couple of years. McKinney got a little bit better. So yeah, so some of our minor leaguers are starting to develop here, which is nice. Tigers 13.5 out, 14.5 out. We win 6-1. Hernandez 2 more hits. Rosarena 2 RBIs. Green 2 RBIs. Meadows 2 RBIs. Green, Meadows, and Rosarena all homer. Oh, it's a 5-inning game. I was gonna say Appleby went the distance, but we won in 5. Second game of the series is a 5-4 win, and of course we lose Hernandez for a month. Of course we do. Benny Montgomery 3 for 5. So I think Montgomery goes into the lineup in the outfield, and Rosarena goes back to DH. I think that's probably the plan here. Now that Hernandez is out for 5 weeks. I mean, the bat's really not great, but it's passable. It's passable. So he'll go in the lineup in left. Rosarena becomes the DH. He becomes our full-time leadoff hitter. I think Meyer, God, that really makes us. I can't do that. I can't do the. Well, I guess we got 4 lefties in a row either way, so we'll just do it like that. Jung can come in and back up at first. Rodriguez. Oh, we need to call somebody up. All right, we need to call up an outfielder. I don't really have an outfielder. We can call up Nick Senzel. I mean, he's good defensively, and that's really all that matters, right? Yeah, we'll call up Senzel. Get him in there when we have somebody who's tired. And I guess Jace Jung as our backup DH, I suppose. And then Rodriguez will be our backup DH here. No, Rodriguez is going to be our starting DH against lefties because we don't have another option. Senzel, Jace Jung, and Jace Jung. Rodriguez is not, however, going to bat. Well, I guess he might. Yeah, I mean, just leave him there, see how it goes. So that is going to cause a issue with our offense here, but hopefully our pitching can make up for it. We got Serna on the mound. And we win again. We win again, 4-3 this time. A couple hits for Benny. Gorman with 24 home runs before the All-Star game. Jung, 2 hits, 2 RBIs. Serna gets his 4th victory. Elder has still not pitched well this year, but other people around him are pitching well. So let's sim the last game of the series. We lose 4-0. Who pitched in that game? If it was Serna, that would have been Cease, yeah. Oh, and Sugesti now is diagnosis pending. Super duper. All right, All-Star game. That's the prospects game. Who made it for the White Sox? We didn't have a single starting pitcher make the All-Star team. That's a bit surprising. We didn't have a single reliever make it. That's incredibly surprising. Nolan Gorman and Riley Green are our 2 All-Stars. That's crazy that we didn't have a single pitcher make the All-Star team. Aaron Nola's bounced back nicely. All right, well, let's get to the draft. We're picking 25th. Let's see what we got. Wally Vigil, an 18-year-old with plus power, but he's a corner outfielder. DeMaurice Sargent, same thing. David Paulson looks really good, actually. He's a good right fielder. High leader, loyalty, adaptability, work ethic. He's a college player like I like. I think Paulson's probably the pick in right field unless somebody else happens to be significantly. Bryce Rayner, he's already a 45, 70 infield range at shortstop. Is an easy sign. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one. Aguirre looks okay. Wow, a lot of talent in this draft. A lot of developed talent in this draft. What do we have a comp pick this year? We don't. All right, so we're picking 25th and then like 60th or something. So whichever player we don't take, the rest of those players won't be there. I haven't even looked at pitchers yet. Memphis Owens, no. Yeah, I'm not going to take a high school pitcher in the first round here. There's too many solid bats to realistically look at these guys. So this is going to be an offensive draft for us. And really, Paulson's probably the best bat. Right field potential. We could go Bryce Rayner, who doesn't, he's got the low work ethic. Who do they think we should take? They think we should take Vigil, which I'm not going to. So I think it's Paulson or Rainier. Arturo Aguirre looks pretty good. He's a center fielder with the range. He's not a great defensive outfielder, but rangy. Drew Downs looks okay as a corner outfielder. Josh Rogers is center fielder, but he's really undeveloped for a 22-year-old. Clavon, if he's there in the second round, might be a nice consolation prize if we end up going Paulson, which I think I'm going to. I love the personality. We make him a right fielder. He doesn't want a ton of money. OSA likes him even more than us. I think we go David Paulson with our first pick. Yep. And we'll see who's there in with the next pick. And all of those hitters are gone. Oh, Arturo Aguirre is still there. That's interesting. Josh Moore. Oh, he looks really good too. We finally get a decent draft, man. Downs is still there. Aguirre is still there. They'll both be gone by the time we pick again. They have to be. But I'm Josh Moore. Starting shortstop, 100%. Great base running ability. Playing for Texas. He's already pretty well developed. Who do they think we should take? Shugart. They really want us taking the young guys, and I don't want to do that. For me, it's Aguirre. For me, it's Aguirre, or I think we go. I just don't know that his bat's ever going to develop, but defensively, that bat plays. Or because of his defense, I think we take Moore, Josh Moore. Because we took the outfielder in the first round, and if either Aguirre or Downs are there in the second, we can readdress it. Because Drew Downs, frankly, mean, he's almost ready to go. So we're going to take the shortstop and keep our fingers crossed that Downs is there, and he is. So Drew Downs will be our third pick. Yeah, high work ethic. He's, again, a left fielder, not a right fielder, but that's fine. All right. So now where do we go? I think now we look at pitchers. Sam Lassiter's 60 catcher ability looks pretty good. We got Josh Cullen. Only wants one. Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, we can take a shot at someone like Josh Cullen, right? He has 3 good pitches. He doesn't throw particularly hard, but high leader loyalty, low greed, good stamina, 3 potentially plus pitches. We can go. Yeah, Josh Cullen we'll take in the 4th round. Let's look at individual pitch potential. Actually, you know what? Let's look at fielding. See if we have any catchers available. That's not how I wanted to do that. Jeremy Maxey. Low work ethic. Come on, man. He's 21. I mean, OSA likes... I mean, if those end up being his ratings with that defense, that's playable. All these catchers with low work ethic, man. Bobby Adams looks all right. Cameron Davis always looks pretty good, too. Not so much here. Wow. 70, 75, 65. A lot of talent there. Brennan Siegler. He's pretty well developed, too. Yep. I'm going to take Brennan Siegler here. All right, let's look at individual pitch potential. Let's do this first. No knuckleballers. Got Peyton Where? Oof. Where or where? Peyton Where? Peyton Where? That's a name. Peyton Where out of Walla Walla, Washington. That's got to be fake, right? It's got to be a made-up name. I love it, but it's got to be a made-up name. Josh McCannon. Wow. 18 years old, fastball, curveball, splitter. Yep. Josh Lomack with an 80 potential slider. Another high school senior. Changeup probably doesn't develop. A good draft. The question is, do they develop or do they fall off the map? So Maxey's still there. We'll take him here now. It's fine. Some of those rangy outfield guys still around. Bobby Adams is still there. Go ahead and take him. Infield range. I was hoping for an 80. Truth be told. Here you go. Chris Price, an 18-year-old, high work ethic, elite. I mean, elite defensively. Hopefully he's still there. He is. We will take him. Let's go back to batting potential. Look at all players. See if there's a pitcher in there somewhere. No. But we do have Luis Palorma, who looks like a decent... I mean, he looks like a good bat. We're going to take Palorma. I don't know that he's going to stick at catcher, but he's got the bat is there, potentially. Ralphie Velazquez, high leader, high intelligence, pretty well developed. What about Mike Freed? Take Freed, he looks a little better. Let's see if there are another catcher or two in here that has high work ethic that... Roberts, he's so bad, though. Like, that feels like just a waste of a pick. Tim Bechtel at least has some room for growth. We'll take him. Any more rangy infield guys? Art Coro. Jimmy DaCosta, the low work ethic. Oof. Wow. That was impressive ratings. Ernesto Mercado, the high work ethic. We'll take him. Let's go back to individual pitch potential once more, see if there's anything we missed. And then I think we let the AI finish. That's a pretty solid draft, I think. Ben Dufresne, no. Work ethic there. Yeah, we'll let the AI finish up. That's a pretty good draft. Pretty good draft. Let's negotiate. 11 million. Oh, we got plenty of money to sign everyone. That's good. Plenty of money to sign everyone. The only one who wants over slot is Josh Cullen. He was that young starting pitcher we picked up. I like getting Downs in the 3rd round. Moore may have been a bit of an overdraft, but if this is what his offensive ratings end up as, he's a starting shortstop for a decade with those ratings. And then David Paulson, I'm really pleased with. He'll probably start in regular A-ball. They'll probably all 3 of these guys probably start in regular A-ball. Downs may even start in high A. Siegler, I think, was a good pick too. Good defensively, so I'm happy with this draft. So let's Musgrove. We got to figure out what to do with him. Do we want to send somebody down? I mean, Elder, I guess, can go down because he hasn't been good. So we'll send him down and we'll call Musgrove up, and he'll be a middle/long guy. Let's go to our next game. That should give some of our draftees an opportunity to sign their contracts. All right, so we are at post deadline day, post All-Star game, I should say. Moore, Siegler. Rojas wants to resign. Nick Senzel wants to resign. So Moore and Siegler both. Where is Siegler? He's right there. We're going to move them both to A-ball, and we will lock down the promotion on both of them. 69 players in our... Oh, this is hard. This is tough, but we're going to do it. I do want to release RJ Mayer. Well, I don't want to, but I'm going to. Get rid of a couple of these relievers. Really just look to get rid of anybody who is I mean, Dossett I'm not going to get rid of just because he's got the high work ethic, but a lot of these 22, 23-year-olds that are 20 overalls. All right. I don't want to make... Okay, Sugasi's only 5 days. I don't think we make any other deals. I think we just hold on for Hernandez to come. I mean, we're so far up in the division that it's not like we're in a position where we're potentially going to not make the playoffs at this point. So I don't want to give up a ton at this point. So I think we just run with what we have for the next month. We get Hernandez back in 4 weeks, and that will give us that bump offensively. But we do score 8 here. Meyer 3 for 5. 2 hits for Riley Green. Rojas homers. Brash doesn't pitch well. Ellard blows the save, but Wolfick and Robinson do their part. Appleby pitching today. There's another win. He actually get the win? He did. 5 innings, a 2-run ball. Sugasti and Gorman both homer. Sugasti has 3 RBIs. Casetta, Stubbs, and Musgrove both give up runs, but we win. I don't really care about Musgrove. We'll probably play the DFA game with him. As soon as I need to call somebody up, he'll get DFA'd, and then we'll leave him there for 10 days, and then we'll call him back up. And then, by that time, we'll be at roster expansion, and we can just leave him on the roster without an issue. So Rodon going for the Yankees today. And he beats us 6-3. Luis Serna against Jackson Kowar. 12.5 game lead over Kansas City. Make it 11.5. Castillo for Gabriel Rodriguez. No. So Downs. Okay, so everybody signed. Cool. Yep. Downs will go to A-Ball. I think Paulson will go to A-Ball as well. Downs, I think, actually needs to start here. Moore's 1 for 9 out of the chute. Ziegler's 3 for 9. Yeah. We'll lock down promotions on those guys. Cervase was a pick last year. 2026, yeah. I don't know that he's got the glove to play catcher, but the bat's there. Potentially. All right, cool. So we've lost a couple in a row. We have an 11.5 game lead. Cease pitching today. We win 4-1. Somehow Dylan Cease in his 10 wins is not an all-star this year. Nolan Gorman, 2 hits, 3 RBIs. We only muster 5 hits, but get the win. Wolfuk, yeah. I mean, I'll take it. I will take it. Another game against Kansas City. We lose 3-1. We look to split the series against the Royals. They've taken 2 out of 3 so far from us. And we do. 3-2 with, I think, Appleby pitching. Yep, he gets another win. ERA down to 4.11. Freddie Freeman with a home run. Only hitting .268 this year. I would think that would mean his demands would come down, but they really haven't. Really haven't yet, but he's hitting all right. Riley Green having a great season. Still looking for $46 million for a 1-year deal. His ARB number was right around 30, so we'll see what happens when we get to arbitration in the offseason. All right, we got Toronto for 3, followed by Detroit. That'll take us up to the deadline. We lose 8-5. Serna on the hill today. Win 3-2. Luis picks up his 5th victory. Gorman with another 3-run homer. Serna goes 5. Bullpen is bullpenning. And the final game of the series in Toronto, Dylan Cease against Zach Eflin. And we lose again. Yeah, so, good month, 14-7. We got off to a super hot start. It's been a bit slower here down the stretch. 1, 2, we are 3-5 in our last 8. 3-5 in our last 8. We're at Detroit for 3. There's a 3-2 win. Matt Brash picks up his 10th win of the season. Riley Green. Double and a homer. Jace Jung hits a home run, his first of the year. Brash 10-2 on the year. Letting him go a little bit deeper into games now because, we may not end up having him back next season. At Detroit again. And another victory, this time a 10-2 victory. Padres want to send us Tyler Visa. Nope for Jake Jaloff. No thank you. Freddie Freeman, 2 for 4, 5 RBIs. Rodriguez. Freeman and Meadows homer. So that's good. 2 hits for Arozarena and Meyer. Appleby with another win. Sub-4 ERA now for Caleb Appleby. You like to see that. Final game of the series, Dollard against Jackson Jobe. So we look to push the Tigers 20 games out of first place. And we do, with a 7-5 victory in 11. Freeman, 2 more RBIs. Gorman, 3 hits. Nick Senzel goes 3 for 6 with his first home run of the season. Aleman and Robinson blows the save. Wolfick picks up his 4th victory. Does give up a run, though. He gave up an earned run here against Kansas City, so that's 1 earned run in 19 1/3 innings for him. Jorge Vera still sitting on a 1.16 ERA this year. 5 earned runs and almost 40 innings of work. All right, so are there any moves that we want to make? I mean, I suppose we could look to see if there's a bullpen upgrade because our bullpen's been much better as of late. But maybe there's, we can send Aleman down and bring in some really good reliever on a, expiring contract or something. I don't know if anything like that exists. Edwin Diaz is there. He's making $18 million. I mean, we could Karinchak. Schreiber's not a bad. I was only making $400. He's only making $780,000. Is he a free agent or is that arbitration? It's arbitration. Arb number next year is 3.2. What would Detroit want for him? Can't imagine they're going to want much. So what about, who do we have that's, Arias' stock is pretty much toast. So they would just straight up take that. All right. What about Owen Egan? They would straight up take that. Okay. Cool. So we'll bring in John Schreiber. We will send down Franco Aleman. Schreiber back up there. I like those ratings from John Schreiber. I don't know what happened to him. He pitched well in Boston in 22, and then it looks like the Twins just bounced him around. All right, well, whatever. We'll play him as a middle reliever. Do we have a popularity? Goldie and Arenado. Arenado's on a 1-year deal. If they retain. He exercised his Rule 5. I'm thinking we could bring him in 100%. Goldschmidt. No. Hosmer, no. Yeah, Arenado's the one. Like, that's the move that I would be looking for. Exercising that 10-5 rule, though. Hader through this year. I mean, can we continue to add to our pen? This is very close to being acceptable. Okay, so you can't have any of those players. I'm sorry. But I would throw you a Nick Gorby. No, that doesn't do anything for you. What about a Jeff Goodman? No. Nelson Salazar. Yeah, those are all players I'm not willing to give up. But doesn't mean we can't. Let's submit that offer. If I can bring in a Josh Hader, bump fan interest, and add a Josh Hader to our bullpen for the stretch run, and we can. So we're going to give you Alexander Womack. Let's complete the deal, bring in Josh Hader, get a big fan interest bump, and just lean into this thing that works for us, right? So fan interest is now up to an 80. Who goes to the minor leagues for the time being? think it's Casetta Stubbs, even though he's been really good. He'll just be in the minors for the next month, and then we'll call him up. Actually, no. This is when we play the game. We will designate Musgrove for assignment. Call up Josh Hader. Yep, the ratings are all still there, so we'll bring him in a middle relief / setup role. Actually, we'll make him our backup closer. Cool. So we just added a couple of, I think, pretty good pieces to our bullpen, which is already pretty solid. So let's sim through the end of the month. Only a couple of days. We'll look at stats. We'll call it an episode. 70-35. Your White Sox are playing .667 ball. Riley Green 3 for 4 with an RBI. Serena Meyer. Yeah, look at that. So Serena comes in, pitches 5. Josh Hader comes in, pitches an inning and a third, strikes out 3. Picks up the victory in his debut. We get Hernandez back in a week, which is going to be big for the offense. Let's go ahead and sim through the trading deadline since we've done what we need to do there. And we finish this episode 41-35. We win another game 4-3. Montgomery and Freeman both homer. So look at that. In yesterday's game, Josh Hader pitches an inning and a third, picks up a win in his debut. In this game, John Schreiber pitches an inning and a third, picks up a win in his debut. Cease out for a day with back spasms. Let's finish the day, let the game kick over, and we will call it a day. Big episode for us, guys. Big episode. We're pretty clearly I want to say I got to look at the standings, but it feels like we're the team to beat coming out of the American League this year. 667 ball. All right, so Cam Robinson gets better, or his overall and his potential get better, but his potential movement drops. Montgomery continues to get worse. Yuck. TJ Ferris continues to get better. Look at his numbers in A-ball. Let's go. The knuckleballer getting it done. You love to see it. The knuckleballer getting it done with the high work ethic. We may indeed have a knuckleballer on our team before it's all said and done. All right. Batter of the month in the AL, Kelenic. Angel Martinez for the Dodgers in the NL. Caleb Appleby wins the pitcher of the month in the American League. He was 5-0 with a 2.39 ERA. Julio Urias in the National League. Reese Chapman, your rookie of the month in the AL, and Jagger Haynes in the NL. Let's look at some of our recent draftees. Drew Downs, off to a rough start in high A ball, but I think the ratings justify it. Let's make him a left fielder. That's where he belongs. Game strategy, force in left. David Paulson, our top pick. Off to an okay start. I'm going to make him a right fielder. We will set the game strategy, force him out and right. Yeah, the range isn't good enough to play center, but the arm is good enough to play right. How is Josh Moore doing? 255 so far. That's fine. Defensive stat. Yeah, he's been really good at short. Brennan Siegler. He's not really hitting, but A-ball is where he belongs, given his ratings and his age. Colin McKinney, our top pick last year, pitching pretty well in Double-A. In fact, I think it might be time for a call-up for him. He's going to be on our roster next year. We're going to have to figure out what to do with our pitching staff. Josh Cullen, not off to a good start, but that's fine. He's still young. Zanger's down to a 50 already. But he's pitching better this year than he did last year. So we're getting some good performances out of our low minor leagues. Offensively, Riley Green, 3.9 WAR, Gorman, 3. Two players playing really, really well for us. Freddie Freeman, only 1.6. So looks like this is going to be a one-year experiment with Freddie Freeman, depending on what he asks for, because that contract is still really high, especially given he's not really hitting all that well right now. Marcelo Meyer's playing pretty well. Yeah, we're not getting Hernandez back in the lineup will certainly lengthen things. That's going to make it, because that'll force us to not have both Montgomery and Meadows in the lineup, which right now is hurting us. Pitching wise, we just continue to play well. Matt Brash is so good, man. He's so good, and we're going to have to trade him. We're going to have to trade him in the offseason. ARB number 14.175. He's been better than Cease, but I can't bring myself to make him my ace with the 45 stamina. So we will have a decision to make in the offseason. We can realistically only keep one of them. We can keep Cease or Brash. And either way, both of them will need to be re-signed prior to that. Luis Serna's having a nice rookie campaign. And there was additional, we talked about on the live stream, we talked about his overall being low, given that his ratings looked like they were maxed out. And there is some additional growth there. That movement now bumped up to a 70. So he's having a nice rookie season. So things are looking good for the White Sox. So next episode will be, I don't know. I guess I'll sim a little bit offline here. And when we get to the live stream, it'll be a couple of weeks before the postseason, and we'll go from there. So, yeah, I'll probably sim up until, the middle of September or whatever. And then Sunday night when we do the live stream, we'll come back and we'll do some off-season baseball. We are 71-35, which is by far the best record in baseball. We have, a 6-game lead on the second best team in the game, which is Washington. So, yeah, this is our season. Year number 5 is when we won it with the Cubs. Can we win it in year number 5 with the White Sox? I don't know, but I'll see you guys on Sunday and we'll figure it out. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.